Good evening, YouTube. Today I felt compelled to make a video about this person, Jess Allen, somebody who thought it was smart to condemn Don Cherry and at the same time condemn white boys, apparently, who enjoy playing hockey, and also condemning the families that support them in that cause. So, I don't know if you've seen the rant, but I got the original yesterday, and I was actually so annoyed by it, I sort of dismissed it out of hand. But then EZRA LEVANT came on, and essentially he pointed out some important things that I thought I would talk about as well. So I apologize if you've seen the rant already, but I'll play it one more time, and then EZRA will speak. So thank you. Speech. I just have to say, this woman who is calling him a bigot and so on, and insulting and taking out of context the true statement he made, which had nothing to do with climate change, by the way. Jordan Peterson had a great line that said something like, the left divides us by the underlying Marxist theory that we should be separated into our groups, tribal groups, he used to say, and that the left will frame any issue, any argument, into, say, there's a infinite number of ways to interpret something, right? So any objections, any other arguments are not really valid in a case like that. They don't value anyone else's opinion. They don't value something that's contradictory to their own opinion. And that's the kind of person I see here. She seems to be talking more or less from a place that's not well informed or well educated, just something that she maybe adopted from her childhood, perhaps, their hatred of these people. Because I could tell you, she truly does hate whom she speaks about, which is why she's trying to frame Don Cherry in that respect, or pardon me, in that aspect, because she did classify him as somebody like the personification of white racist boys who are bullying her. I really, really find that kind of behavior disgusting, extremely disgusting. And this person here calling her a great Canadian, that's wrong. She's a low person, and she should be disgraced for talking that way. She is a true racist and a true bully. I look at her here. She's been harassed on her Instagram. Jess Allen just made her Instagram private after all the hockey drama, which is not drama, but I would classify it as definitely hate speech. You know, Don Cherry wasn't even addressing it in a racist way. Racism, as I told you in a previous video, was not the sentiment behind what he talked about, but rather a protection of Canadian traditions. And the fact that he's a hockey icon is irrelevant. He simply used that show to get his message out. So, you know, I look at this person and I see arrogance. I don't know what you see, my viewers, but I'm looking at this one. Oh, mankind is so deluded from her Twitter account. Recently came across these lines from Euripides, wrote some 2,500 years ago, and Carson translated much later. Oh, mankind so deluded, so pointlessly deluded. I just see somebody here who hates and and hates. She must be very unhappy because I cannot see. A lot of this I see is something like revenge for the past, I think, if I had to analyze her character. And I like this one. You are a racist and hateful person, plain and simple. Yes, she is. I think that her message that she's trying to put out is very, very rude and very entitled and snobby for sure. She, you can see the tone of arrogance, the tone of superiority that she thinks she has. And she's a nobody who's trying to condemn a great person who actually has. You can say that her when you really scrutinize her speech, that it has no backbone. It's just talk and talk with empty words. It has no real depth nor meaning, and it's outright insulting for, I'm sure, to people whom have raised hockey player children, not just boys but girls as well. So in that way I say she's a bit sexist. And she is the real bully. I say it with confidence. Don Cherry is not a bully. Don Cherry was simply trying to scold and shame people into remembering the value of the poppy, the value of the sacrifice the veterans made during World War I and II. That's the truth. So I look at this person and I say, she may come from Canada, but I think Canada should reject her because she doesn't love Canada, for starters. I could say that. Because if she loved Canada, she would defend Don Cherry's speech. Not his position in hockey has nothing to do with it. She just used the opportunity to take a swipe at hockey. And so that's why they say the CTV's host is hockey hating. I think the CTV should issue an apology for her behavior and that she should be the one who gets fired. But I think that in this time, it's indicative that this kind of racist hate speech is celebrated because it's currently in line with all the grand narrative of the left. An innocent man suffers for doing the right thing, and a corrupt person is celebrated. Well, I would say that she probably received personally quite a bit of backlash for her statements, but she was not fired. You can see here, she celebrates a life of let's call it, not privilege isn't the right word, but she's constantly traveling. EZRA LEVANT had something here. It was great. I can't get it any longer because her Instagram account is blocked publicly. But hopefully I can get it. Let's see here. Here they are. So, fortunately for us, the Rebel managed to grab a few of the pictures from her traveling. So, she travels here, travels there. looking quite ridiculous. And, you know, I hate this. This is just the personification of injustice to me, because it's really a distortion of the truth in our time. It's something that, like, what is the consequence for her talking like this? I wonder if she'll be fired or not. I wonder if there'll be people that stand up against her for sure. But, like, I don't think that that she'll be fired for her ugly comments. And she should be. If Don Cherry can say something like that in passing and be fired, and it wasn't even racist, but like misconstrued as racist, and this person comes out and says something like that, it's absolutely disgraceful and it's unfair. You know, I just don't see how if the media are accountable, they should never back somebody like that. She should be fired. Like, the statement is racist against young boys who play hockey and the families that support them, as you've seen at the beginning of this video. It's not even taken out of context. She actually said that. You see? She refers to the families. Allen told viewers that she doesn't worship at the altar of hockey and found in her experience that those who did all tended to be white boys who weren't, let's say, very, very nice. They were not generally thoughtful. They were often bullies. Their parents were able to spend $5,000 a year on minor hockey. $5,000 is a lot of money. And she also said that you could use that money to travel the world like she does. I see a person who is extremely pampered and spoiled. Somebody who, this statement here, all tended to be white boys who weren't. That's very, very sexist, and that's also racist. We don't have to go into it in detail to find that. And they're not generally thoughtful, so she thinks that they're stupid as well, and that their parents are also stupid for wasting the money on hockey. Well, I think Don Cherry ought to sue her for her comments. But I do think that the proper thing to happen now is for her to be fired. CTV should fire her. She's an absolute disgrace, and she doesn't deserve to have her place on television, really. I just look at her and I say, you know, here's a person who's exploiting their influence, their power to harm other people, and it's that simple. Just a person who is not worthy to give her opinion on TV, really, and she should be fired, because that's a very infantile and uncivilized manner that she has. It's very uncivilized, and it disgusts me to think that she call herself Canadian, because it's not that's not in line with Canadian values. So I thank you for your time. I feel sickened in my heart by it. I hope many of you, my viewers, feel the same and condemn her, because she is not very responsible in her behavior, and indeed she is somebody who should receive the same treatment of Don Cherry for actually creating hate speech. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.